Hello there, very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here from our studios in the capital, Ekwe-Abuahima. This is News Night. Stories making headlines. And our very first story tonight, President Akufo-Addo says Galamsey poses an existential threat to the future of Ghana as he embarks on another attempt to engage chiefs and MMDCs to fight illegal small-scale mining. Also, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee shocked at the revelation that $100 million of oil revenue has been lodged in a bank in the UK without their knowledge. Families and victims of the Ejura shooting worried about delay in prosecutions a year on, and asked for speedy trial of persons involved. In business tonight, government announces new cocoa price. Meanwhile, the minority in parliament who had earlier called for new prices say farmers need to be paid what is due them. International front, a roadside bomb kills 3 United Nations peacekeepers from Bangladesh and injures several others in northwestern Central African Republic. We have details of these stories and more, all coming up in the next 60 minutes. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello again, and remember we're streaming on Twitter. It's at Metro TV GH. If you're on Facebook, it's at Newsnight and at Metro TV Ghana. Our very first story has to do with a $100 million oil revenue, and the Vice President of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, Nasir Alpha Mohammed, has expressed shock that $100 million of oil revenue accounted for was being held in a bank in the UK. And he was speaking during the presentation of the 2022 PIAC semi-annual report.
The Minority Caucus in Parliament, the government is acting contrary to the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, as revenue of $100 million was not paid into the fund according to the law. Speaking on the Bottom Line show with Kwesi Afriyie, the Deputy Energy Minister Ejapa Mensah claims the monies are not missing, but rather in a government-owned bank in the UK.
This is all much ado about nothing. Of course, PIAC is an independent body that has been created by law. They have a view. That doesn't make their view gospel. My understanding is that GOHL's liftings, were paid into one of GNPC's account with Ghana International Bank.
Ghana International Bank?
Yes.
Where?
Ghana International Bank, obviously you are asking me where. You are a business news presenter. Of course, Ghana International Bank is a Ghanaian government-owned bank in UK.
So the money is in UK?
It was paid into that account.
The $100 million is in UK?
Of course.
The rest is in the UK?
Absolutely. It's in GOHL's account, yes.
In the UK?
Yes.
Meanwhile, the Vice President of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, Nasir Alpha Mohammed, expressed shock as his outfit was not privy to such details.
We will not be able to confirm whether this money is sitting anywhere in a Ghanaian-owned bank in the UK. Like, seriously, I'll be surprised if the Deputy Minister, in a Ghanaian-owned bank, I'm not aware, but if that is the case also, I'm sure we will follow up on this matter and get the appropriate responses from the ministry. By early, let's say, March thereabout next year, when we are required by law to publish our annual report, we will update the citizens of Ghana on whether or not this has happened. Then we'll take it from there.
PIAC disclosed that following the acquisition of 7% interest in the Jubilee and 10 fields by GNPC in 2021, over $100 million was not paid into the Petroleum Holding Fund.
And let's get some more updates from Wager. And the Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, Eric Nana Ajiman Prempeh, has charged the Municipal Chief Executive of Wager Agbawe and Gan South as a matter of necessity swiftly demolish all unauthorized structures along waterways, as they are a major cause of floods ensuing in the area. He has also given an indication that currently the situation is improving as volumes of water being received from the dam is reduced. And my colleague Gabriel Ni Obodaitogbo Ashong has more.
Over 4,000 residents of the Gan South and Wager Agbawe municipalities are in distress. As a result of the floods, majority of these residents are currently being sheltered in church and school buildings. Others, though, have been stranded as their houses have been cut off by the floods. We joined one of several rescue teams to reach out to some of these affected persons whom we found in precarious circumstances.
Oh, the lady nearly fell. We pray that we do not record any casualty.
But we're very serious, very, very serious. So we need equipment to rescue the people from there. Even your car, can you see your own car sinking over the water? So we need more men to help us.
More men from the National Fire Service or volunteers?
Volunteer to come and assist us.
Okay. So it's risky being here, and you can clearly see that officers from the Ghana National Fire Service are doing their best, as well as officials from the National Disaster Management Organization.
The Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Nana Ajiman Prempeh, is leading the rescue efforts. He charged the chief executive officers of the two affected municipalities, Gan South and Wager Agbawe, Joseph Stephen Nyani and Patrick Kumar, to deal with the major root cause of the floods, building on waterways.
At the buffers of the water, people have built all over. Illegal structures, unauthorized structures all over. And therefore, the water couldn't go on its way. It has to enter into people's houses. This calls for demolition of some structures at the buffers of the... Because with the climate change adaptation, there's nothing you can do. Rainfalls, today you cannot determine June, July or whatever. There will be rainfalls, but we need to make sure we prepare for it all the time.
If you look at our leadership in Wager Agbawe, since assumption of office, almost about 6 years now, structures that are dotted on waterways, we've started with the demolition of those structures. We still have some few more that have to be pulled down. And my promise that I gave to the media was yesterday is that those that are still there, after the river and the situation have been taken under control, we're going to make sure we pull those structures down as well.
The NADMO boss and his entourage also visited the Wager Dam, where it was revealed that the volume of water coming through was reducing, and as such, the situation will soon improve.
So we toured areas that have been affected by the flood, and the last point was at the estuary, where we believe that it's actively working, and then the water in the community will be moving out pretty soon. We also visited the dam where Ghana Water is doing the spillage. The good news is that the levels that are coming from the eastern region is reducing, so hopefully by close of day, the gates should be brought down so that we wouldn't have so much pressure coming into the community.
Food items and cash are among the relief items distributed to the affected persons so far. Metro News is keeping an eye on the situation and will keep you updated.
So let's stay there for some more stories. As displaced persons in Tetegu in the Wager Agbawe municipality are complaining about hunger, the residents who have had their homes flooded say they are unable to cook. So far, no food item has also been sent to them, either by Assembly or NADMO. Meanwhile, rescuers continue their operations to evacuate persons trapped in their houses, as several other victims also continue to leave the community.
Residents of Tetegu have since Sunday witnessed overwhelming flooding situation. Some residents say this is a major flooding since 1991. Several properties have so far been lost to the floods. They blame authorities for failing to be proactive, as no caution, according to them, was made ahead of the spillage of the Wager Dam.
I think our leaders have failed us woefully, And it has nothing to do with we not locating at a good place, all right? The main point has to do with our leaders or our government entities not working. In fact, people in the government agency go to work as probably a noun. They see work as a name of a place, not as an action. Because if people are to actually do their work, they will know the level at which they have to start spilling the water at Weija Dam. And if you look at the extent at which the water has caused the damage, then it means they actually did not work at all. They actually didn't know when they had to open the dam to allow water to just spill out bit by bit. They waited, or people who are in charge of these dams had to wait until the time it's at almost at the damage level, so that we will actually suffer.
My better 8 years ni ye bie nsuo pa ba say nsuo beba ebebu afaso say die anye ye engine di say bibi say betumi ato nti ato ye no me de me hawo ni nyina say aban ohun ye mobo na mboa kakra wo de be ma ye no ofa mboa ye because ye de enimo ye na ya ba ha dan na yeti.
Some residents have had their homes completely flooded and are sheltering in a Roman Catholic church building. But they say it has become difficult to feed themselves. Speaking to Metro News, they called on authorities to come to their aid.
Oh, yes, it's not free Monday. It's way by no ye huntoye. Ye damning for your name and for ye baby co. Any abeshe assorted them.
They're only depending on benevolent help from NADMO and then the rest of the people, church members who are also helping. So for now, most of the residents, their places have been flooded, so we are all staying in the church.
As a community of faith, we are also thinking of providing items by way of relief to our members who are in this situation. And not only our members, but other people in the community who have been affected. So I hear that some of them have been given food and then other relief items. So we are calling on other individuals, other organizations to come not only to the aid of our people, but to the entire community, so that the best we can do for them, we are able to do so.
Bright Kwame Adabra is assembly member for Tetegu.
NADMO called. I've not heard from any authority from the assembly apart from NADMO asking what is happening. And I don't know who to call when there's such a situation in the community that I've been moving. I think authorities should also call and find out what is happening here. I don't know who to call in this regards to find out what, or to ask them what measures can get for those people. Because once they may keep there as residents that the assembly matters to them, the assembly should come and even find out where they are.
Meanwhile, rescuers continue to patrol the enclave to provide assistance to persons who have been entrapped in their houses. Even though some of the affected residents are leaving the community, there are still others who are reluctant.
Right, so earlier my colleague Gabriel was there, and last night I mentioned that Shadrach Odami was in Weija, and he indeed spent the night with residents of Weija, Tetegu, and its environs in the Greater Accra region. For many of them, it never occurred to them that they could one day leave the comfort of their homes to flats. Over 500 residents had to spend the night at very uncomfortable places due to the floods.
So there was spillage from the Weija Dam, and usually what happens is before the spillage is started, people here are warned so they can move to highlands. And then already in the past years, most people have been warned about settling around the Weija Dam. Tonight we are back here at Weija to see how people are really coping after flood ransacked their various homes. I have some people here carrying their food, and then it's what?
Bread.
But were you not warned to move to Highland?
They announced it, but like we didn't take it seriously.
But it's your life at stake. So if it was announced, you would have to take it seriously.
Yeah, we did a mistake. Like we have to move at first, but we didn't take it serious. But now it has.
So you accept that you didn't take it serious?
Yeah, we accept that we didn't take it serious.
And then you are facing the repercussions?
Yes, of course.
So tonight, where do you live?
I just stayed behind where the car has reached. That's where I stay.
So where are you going to sleep tonight?
Oh, that's the problem for now. I'm going to sleep at the top.
Which top?
It's a sorry building.
Just here we have the water around our ankles, but we are told when we get deeper it would probably reach our waistline. So we will get inside and then find out how people have struggled to even pack their wares or belongings out of the water for safety. I have not done half of my journey. I'm still following Meshach to probably find out where people are spending their night. Just when I began my talking, the water was around my ankle. Now it's at my knee, it's knee level. So subsequently, another woman warned me to be careful, else I'll get to places where it's around my chest. So this is how people have had to transport themselves and then their belongings through the flood. This is nightlife here in Weija. See this small girl in her uniform being helped out of this water. This is the home of Meshach and his siblings. We've been walking for close to 15 minutes and finally arrived in his home. Already the whole house is submerged in the waters. This is your house. Yeah. We are in your house. So which route will you use?
We are using the same route. This is where the route follows. So where the pillar is, that's where we pass and enter inside and go to
climb up.
Yeah, so we pack our belongings to the top. So now our belongings are at the top for now as I'm talking.
So where are you going?
We are going to find guest house.
Guest house where? Because the whole place is flooded. So which guest house?
I don't know. We don't know. We are just confused, Charlie. Maybe Odoko.
From Weija to Odoko.
Yeah.
So if you don't get a guest house, what do you do? Because one woman said she's going to stand at the roadside till probably next morning and then find another place.
It can be the same as us. Because they are just remember we come from just far. We are walk. They don't get any place to stand, so we are going to see how it is. I get a wife too, but as of now, my wife is in mother side. Will get a small baby 2 months, so now he's not here.
So you have personnel from the Ghana Armed Forces helping people who are stuck in their homes to reach safety. So once you meet the truck midway, you join them, and then it's also the huge truck is carrying a metal canoe. That is what they use in conveying the people from their homes to safety. I chanced on this poster. It says house for rent, 2 bedrooms self-contained apartment, 6 bedroom self-contained apartment for rent. If after this water have receded, people will still turn a blind eye, come back to these places and then rent apartments, and later in life complain about opening of dams, because this is to clearly tell you this particular area is one dangerous place.
Some more flood-related stories, and 4 basic schools in the New Joabin North Municipality in the Eastern Region have been closed down. Over 2,600 persons have also been rendered homeless by floods that submerged many houses. Municipal Chief Executive Comfort Asante, who addressed the media in Koforidua, appealed for help.
2,686 persons have been displaced. This is made of 977 children, 489 males, and 1,708 females. Records available from the Eastern Region Coordinating Council indicate that the last time floods of such magnitude occurred was in 1963, when the River Densu overflowed its banks. According to regional authorities, there was massive destruction to life and property. Addressing the media at a press conference in Koforidua, Municipal Chief Executive Comfort Asante said the flood situation has led to the shutdown of some educational institutions.
Those whose homes have been affected, at least for now, they are being housed in our school classroom blocks, mosques, and we have a pieces in town who were not affected, so some are still logging up with their parents.
She pleaded with the international community, government, non-governmental organizations, civil society, and private organizations to come to their aid.
The current rains, which started last week, gradually built up and flooded downstream, making it impossible for the River Densu to contain the flow. Matters got worse on Sunday, 2nd October 2022. Thereafter, the Assembly, in conjunction with the National Disaster Management Organization, the Regional Highways, Urban Roads Engineers, Municipal Security Council, our
Right, and we will talk about Galamsey. The president has been speaking about it, and he said that the statement he made that his presidency, he will put his presidency on the line for Galamsey still stands. But before that, residents of Abubli in the Ayenswano district of the Eastern region have protested Galamsey activities in the area. According to them, they fear their farms will be destroyed by illegal mining activities.
The protest saw the community display their dislike for illegal activity. Residents who pour out in their numbers say they will resist any attempt by illegal miners to come to their community.
What to go do no so amanano yeti koko na beto amanim ye be den akoyi iti ye mpreso
Galamsey ni de yanji ntumu nna yanji ntumu okyena wo ba ye de ani bi na be hia wo kro mo papa e be se koko no na boa ye ne ye de hwe ye ho e wa abusua nyina mu esan se koko no so no na ye de di ho e na ye de ye mbibia ntu ye mble ntumu yanji ntumu nda yanji ntumu
what to Galamsey na me TV amuna ani ade koko no say the Ghana cocoa, actually had a bobra or Ghana. Eti atam chow, mablu wa medwa mi cocoa, and kwakura dua cocoa, and mlatia dua cocoa. Ah, ya baba stand de, ya power joe, ya brinda.
The people of Abubli say farming is mainstay and will not allow illegal mining to destroy their farms.
Yedi yese Galamsey no ya mpreso efise ebema yemba no mo ayemobo. Yem papa no mo abedu cocoa e wo ha, eno ana yede hwe yemba ene yan yerenom na sese mu betu koko na gu a mnanti nyina be se aduane kokrom biem ere mfa so bia mbrɛ yɛ ti esre na na kufu adu se yes abobiriman yem pe Galamsey wɔ ha.
They appealed to authorities to help them drive away any interest in illegal mining from the area.
Government's effort to stop illegal mining is not yielding results as water bodies remain polluted, while vast arable lands are being given to illegal miners. On Good Morning Ghana, host Dr. Randy Abe bemoaned inability of government to fight illegal mining, while government spokesperson Eric Chum defended government's action, and managing editor of Insight newspaper Kwesi Pratt was also on the show, expressed worry Galamsey will cause irreparable damage to Ghana's economy.
Government appears struggling to address illegal mining in Ghana. Vast lands have been destroyed and water bodies no longer serve a useful purpose for people who live around them. From the Densu to the Brim to Ayintu and Pra, almost all Ghana's rivers have been polluted by illegal mining. The activities of these illegal miners are very visible in various mining communities, and the level of devastation speaks volumes. When President Nana Akufo-Addo assumed office, he put his presidency on the line just to make sure Galamsey was stopped. But this has failed too. On Good Morning Ghana, host Dr. Randy Abe bemoaned inability to stop illegal mining, even though chiefs, metropolitan, municipal and district chiefs, and national security have all been involved in the fight.
In an area like this, you have at least at the governance level, you have your MCs and DCs and everybody. You have chiefs, you have police commanders, you have BNI officers, you have military intelligence officers, you have national security operatives. Yet this happens.
The clash between security forces and illegal miners have also taken a wrong turn as brandishing of guns and weapons of destruction is almost becoming a norm. Though some stakeholders have argued that government has not been forthright in the fight to stop illegal mining, government spokesperson Eric Chum says no public official will sit aloof and watch river bodies get polluted by illegal miners, adding that mining companies confuse prospecting license and mining lease, leading to mining in unapproved areas.
The challenges that we are confronted with that people confuse prospecting license, reconnaissance license, and a mining lease to mean one thing. Just because
they know it's deliberate.
No, I know. Yes, I know.
Yes.
Right. So the person who started the process will be granted a prospecting license and goes into full-blown mining without recourse to even making sure that the conversation with the EPA in the locality is done, reclamation of the land. For example, If all of these things is done in a manner that is structured, some of this conversation that we'll be even having will not be there.
Managing editor of the Insight newspaper, Kwesi Pratt Jr., also painted a gloomy picture of the Ghanaian public now patronizing imported water due to illegal mining.
I'm told that the Ghana Water Company actually estimates that the cost of treating water has now gone up by 100% as a result of the quality of water that they have to treat. 100%, which means that we are going to pay a lot more for water. Now, the water situation has become so precarious, the quality of water as well has become so precarious, that we've actually started importing water. I don't know if you guys are aware that we're importing water. A lot of people have a lot more confidence in imported water than locally treated water.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has reiterated his pledge not to shield any of his appointees found derailing government efforts in fighting galamsey. He did not mince words while engaging MMDCs and chiefs that should they be involved or be complicit, they will pay a huge price for their involvement in the illegality.
Government is waging a war against galamsey, which has been unsuccessful so far, according to stakeholders. The latest initiative is engagement of chiefs and MMDCEs to step up efforts to support the fight as the devastation speaks volumes. President Akufo-Addo, who is on a collision course with his appointees accused of fueling illegal mining activities in their communities, says he will not protect anyone found culpable.
I'm not here to threaten anybody, but I want you to know that this is a struggle that I take very seriously. And I will not be in a position to protect anybody against whom evidence is marshaled to show their complicity. I won't do it. I don't operate with rumors. I'm a lawyer. So I'll always be dealing with facts. But if facts are brought, you will be invited to comment on it.
Already, one of them, the district chief executive for Bosome-Frehou in the Ashanti region, has his head on the chopping block.
Your colleague in Bosome-Frehou, there have been public accusations about his involvement. He's been summoned by the Minister for Local Government to come and answer. Unfortunately for him, it has coincided with the death of his wife. And apparently tomorrow is the first week, the 1 week celebration. So he has not been able to respond. But when the 1 week celebration is over, he will have to respond. And depending on the quality of his response, we will decide what the future holds for him. But that is the process that we're going to apply to anybody against whom allegations are made. An opportunity will be given to you to respond. If the response is not satisfactory, you can guess for yourself what the consequences will be.
The fight is stepping up efforts to recover exploited lands, but President Akufo-Addo says the political cost is huge.
I'm aware that in the last election, it cost us, especially in the Western region. Most of the mining communities in the area turned their back on us. I think there are just two exceptions, Takwa and Bibiani. The rest turned their backs on us. So there is a political cost to the fight we're waging. It's a cost we should be prepared to pay in the interests of Ghana.
Though the president is unfazed, he has asked the chiefs and leaders at the various assemblies to support the fight.
Need to make an urgent call, but you realize you don't have credits, or your very important conversation was cut short because you ran out of airtime. Well, there's no need for all of that stress, because all you have to do is dial *506# on MTN and you get to borrow credits on MTN Extra Time. The best part is you can also borrow data by dialing same number *506# and you can bundle data whenever you run out of data to continue browsing as always. Your conversations don't need to end. Borrow extra time now and enjoy the things you love on your favorite network, MTN. And still to come, government announces new prices. Farmers will now get 800 cedis from a bag of 65 kg, which is formerly sold for 600 cedis. Welcome back to Newsnight. Families and victims of the Ejura shooting are demanding speedy prosecution of persons found culpable. They also want to be adequately compensated for their loss. And Chairman of the Joint Committee for the Victims addressed a press conference in the capital, Accra.
The death of an activist, Ibrahim Muhammad alias Kaka, in the Ejura Dumasi municipality sparked outrage in the community. The youth marched up on the streets to demand justice. A standoff between the demonstrators and the joint military and police security team led to the killing of 2 young men, while many others were injured. It has been a year and a half since the incident, yet according to families of the dead and injured, justice is yet to be served.
We have been attending courts every single day, and yet the prosecutors does not even bother to show up. What kind of justice system is this? What more do you want from us?
The mother of one of the victims, Agatha Doyina, shares her struggles.
If we say assembly see, yeah, still yes, no Tom.
It is almost a year since my child was discharged from the hospital. He is still not completely healed and goes for review from time to time. I am a trader and I don't make enough to care for myself and son. So I'm pleading with the government to help me.
Chairman of the Joint Committee of the Victims of the Ejura shooting, Alhaji Inusabawa, called on the government to provide adequate compensation to the families of the 2 people killed.
The Ejura Committee recommended that adequate compensation should be paid to the families of 2 persons who were killed. B. Adequate compensation should be paid to injured persons.
He also demanded that the officers involved be punished.
He should take steps to require the investigation and prosecution of the individuals who are criminally culpable in the incident that led to the death of Abdul Nasir Yusuf Murtala Muhammad Siraj, and to the injury sustained by Louis Aipa, Awal Misbah, and Nazif, among others.
The Joint Committee is asking the government to treat them fairly and equally as citizens.
And tonight on Operation Clean Your Frontage, the Assembly member for the Kaneshie electoral area, Frederick Asante Kudria, has pledged his Assembly's support in sustaining the initiative. This comes after traders along the stretch were moved off the pavement, pedestrian walkway in front of the Kaneshie market.
Told yesterday that there's an operation that is going on right from Aveno through to Kaneshie. At least I did not know myself because I heard it that they will be coming here for the operation. But as I'm here right now, I heard that most of our women are affected. Their wares, their stocks, everything has been spoiled here today. And I can see that though we are doing Operation Clean Your Frontage, but at least there should be a case where we can also see how best we can dodge all and see how best. Because at the end of the day, the ladies who are here for long and they sell over here, since I know them selling over here, and most of the times they are this type of buy thing that normally comes that they know how best they can do how to go about things. But this one is too much. As you can see, it's too much. See, most of them are just don't know what they can do, and they are deprived of their goods. Some went for loan. and others, and it's very pathetic. Most people, most of the times, they come here and they draw the lines. See, it's not right now that we are experiencing such a situation. They come here most often, but they draw lines for them that, oh, you should shift to this direction. I've been here once upon a time to educate them on this issue.
Now, who does the drawing of the line?
That's AMA, to be precise. That's a sub-metro, which I'm part. So we have a
good. So when you say they draw the line, it looks like it's someone different, but it should be you have to draw the line, if I'm getting you correctly.
And that's AMA per se, and I'm part of it.
Including yourself.
Including myself.
So yes. Then I can confidently say it is you who did not do your work. Because if you ensured you're part of the bargain, they would also not be here today.
What I'm trying to say is that, see, where the line passes through this edge. As you can see, there's a red line here. You come closer and have a look at it. Look. The red line that passes here straight like that. So those over here shouldn't be affected. See?
But because most of the assemblies are seemingly seated aloof, once the minister and his people comes in, they are literally doing your work.
That's what I'm saying. That I'm quite shocked myself. I'm quite shocked about this because I know if there's a line here, why should we trespass and go and evict them? Because there's a line they've done already, and that's what we go by.
If you are being shocked, you should also be disappointed in your other colleagues plus the assembly.
Right, and to the important people in our lives, in our school lives, teachers. For many, they heard of the cliche that the teacher's reward is in heaven, and yet they decided to take up the profession while accepting that very little has been done to appreciate teachers. They want government to set aside a holiday to celebrate teachers. As we mark World Teachers Day, Ethel Pupulampu tells the story of some teachers and how, despite the challenges with teaching, they still adore the profession.
The teacher is a fulcrum of education. Many professions have traced their beginnings to the teacher. From the basic level to second and tertiary, the teacher's role is key. For many of these teachers, they have not been appreciated enough for their work.
Teachers' Day being a holiday is not a bad idea. Yes, because there's nothing like midterm. So if a whole year we take that day for ourselves, we will be happy.
It should be holiday. It should be. If the teachers teaches you those in the media, and the teachers, the lawyers, the doctors, everybody, then everybody must join this force. That day, you and all the other sector workers should come and celebrate us. It shouldn't be left to us alone. It should be holiday. If you are proud to be working as a media man, then you should be able to say that is declared a holiday for us.
Mami Jamal Mwakon is the head teacher of the Calvary Methodist 1 Basic School. She holds a different view on setting aside a day to celebrate teachers.
To me, I don't think it should be a holiday, but rather we should engage the stakeholders in our small community, like the Adabraka here. We can engage the stakeholders and then explain the policies of government to them. Like what we are doing, I think it's okay. In Ghana, we have too many holidays. So if the government will take it upon itself that today being the Teachers' Day, the teachers will engage the community, explain the policies very well to them. That's the grassroots, so that they will understand the policies of the government very well. I will be happy.
At the Calvary Methodist 1 Basic School in Adabraka in Accra, teachers beam with joy and gratitude as they focus on the day set aside to celebrate them. As pupils prepare to begin the day's academic work, teachers ponder on how government can make their work more enjoyable and easier. Some teachers work under poor conditions and in dilapidated classrooms in communities without water and electricity, and yet they are supposed to give of their best. For many of these teachers, despite the difficulties and challenges of being a teacher, the profession is dear to them.
I feel very proud and great as a teacher.
Very proud to be a teacher, proud to be a teacher. But it's not easy to manage these kids. So having go through the whole year, today we mark our days, we are just happy for that.
For these pupils, their teachers are their everything.
To wish every teacher happy Teachers Day, not only from our school but all over the world. I also want to thank the teachers of Calvary Methodist One Basic School. Every teacher over here has done an amazing job over the years. I'm now in Form 3 because of them, so I'd like to thank them very, very much.
I wish all my teachers a very great happy Teachers Day, and I thank them for whatever they've impacted into me.
This year's celebration is themed "The Transformation of Education Begins with Teachers."
Right, we're taking a break. We'll be back with business. Ken is in the studio, so stay with us for more.
Welcome back. The Africa Pulse report has revealed that Ghana's debt is expected to jump significantly above 76.6% amid a widening government deficit, massive weakening of the Ghanaian cedi, and rising debt service. Meanwhile, the president of the Policy Initiative for Economic Development, Daniel Anim, has cautioned the finance minister to desist from playing mind games with the economy by restructuring the nation's debt portfolio.
We believe strongly that debt restructuring is imminent because of our high debt stock, almost at 80% of GDP. And that's the way to go for government to be able to have that space, to be able to mobilize resources and then put it into other sectors quickly. Why am I saying? We also believe from the information we're picking that government bonds will be maturing about 1.5 billion Ghana cedis or so that government is supposed to cough and pay investors. So the issue of restructuring domestic bond is something that actually indeed government is considering strongly. But they are not being frank with the citizens. They are not coming out boldly. We are saying that government, that is the only, if that's the only way out, which of course, looking at our financial situation, that is the only way out for now. Come out boldly, engage critical stakeholders, negotiate with them, let people understand the issues. Okay, when people understand the issues, they'll support you as a government. That yes, we are at the point, we are at the crossroad where government liquidity is in a very dire situation, and there's a need for all of us to support the process. But if you are playing psychological game with the citizens, it won't help. If we wake up one day and say, yes, we have to restructure domestic debt, it will diminish investors' confidence in our domestic economy, and that may be fatal to the very survival of this economy. Don't forget, during the cleanup exercise, some of us were of the view that, yes, there's a need for a cleanup exercise, but let's go by the gradual approach. BOG, Minister of Finance said, no, the only way should be radical. We advise them that the radical approach, few things are very important. You don't know the cost. Secondly, jobs will be lost. Companies will go down the drain. They decided to do the opposite. What are we seeing now? Now the cleanup exercise, the debt alone is about 25 billion Ghana cedis, which has even ballooned our domestic debt. So these are some of the things, realities on the ground. And we are saying that, look, we haven't putting things into perspective. The finance minister respectfully is playing games on the minds of the citizens.
To some good news, as Ghana has increased cocoa producer price from 660 Ghana cedis to 800 Ghana cedis per bag for the 2022-2023 crop season. Agric Minister Dr. Owusu Afriyie-Akoto announced this in Accra. The new farm gate price, which represents a 21% enhancement of the 2021-2022 rate, takes effect on Friday, 7th October 2022. Let's have a conversation on the back of this. And Obed Owusu-Adeh is the national coordinator of the Ghana Civil Society Cocoa Platform. Obed, thank you very much for joining me this evening. I spoke with you not long ago about this possible increment. Are you happy that it's been increased to 800 Ghana cedis?
Thank you very much for having me. We as farmers and farmer groups are not really excited, but we are grateful to government for listening to our concerns and by increasing the price to about 21% on top of the 660. So by and large, we are not excited, but we are grateful.
Right. How much would you have wished government had increased it to?
So we issued a statement, and on top of our statement, our counterparts in Ivory Coast also increased their price from 825 to 900 CFA funds, which translates to around 860 Ghana cedis per bag. So by giving us 800 Ghana cedis, there is a difference of about 60 Ghana cedis between Ghana and coast. And the reason why it's important is that cocoa as a commodity, sometimes there is cross-boundary smuggling of cocoa beans. And the circumstances that allow this to happen is when there is a difference in prices between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. And so we are concerned that by pegging our price below the Ivorian figure, it could engender some form of cross-country smuggling of cocoa beans.
Right. So what are cocoa farmers going to do now? Are you going to petition government to further increase it to meet the Ivory Coast price?
No, I mean, we like I said, we are grateful to government for increasing it. We will maintain this. We will hold on to this for the time being, and tell government or let Cocoa Board know that that is a wish.
Right, thank you very much. Obed Owusu is a cocoa farmer. That's it for business. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Sports News is next.
Well, good evening. It's time for sports. My name is Phil John Quarter. Let's bring you updates from the UEFA Champions League. It's getting interesting. If you're an English capital, I've got Chelsea. They are leading the Italian team, AC Milan, by a goal to nil. There you have it on your screens over there. Salzburg, they are leading Salzburg, I think, Zagreb by a goal to nil. Chelsea are also winning now, halftime 1-0 against AC Milan. Earlier on, Leipzig managed to beat Celtic by 3-1. Real Madrid are actually leading 2-1 against Schalke Donetsk. Then Manchester City is that gentleman again that comes from Oslo, Haaland. It's called a brace. They are leading the men from Denmark, Copenhagen, by 3-0. Then Borussia Dortmund, they are surprising the team from Spain, that is Seville, leading them by 3-0. Benfica and Paris Saint-Germain are drawing 1-1. Then in the Italian city of Turin, Juventus are leading Maccabi Haifa by a goal to nil. The surprise one is the one in London. Chelsea leading AC Milan by a goal to nil. And there's a jamboree already in Accra. Well, let's go to Qatar now with 46 days to the World Cup. The chief operating officer of the FIFA 2022, Colin Smith, says that all is set for the World Cup.